Assalamu alaikum guys, this is me Senpai Gamer San. I'm your host Senpai. We are playing the game To Be or Not To Be, as you guys can see it. So, would you like to enable the narration? Yeah, my fans gonna be enjoy it. You can toggle the narration by close mode. Okay, alright then. Thanks. To be or not to be.
William Shakespeare, 1564 AD to whenever he died, was well known for borrowing from existing literature when writing his plays. Romeo and Juliet is pretty much lifted entirely from Arthur Brooks' poem The Tragical History of Romulus and Juliet. Dude didn't even change the names. And as recent Shakespeare scholarship has established, the famed play William Shakespeare Presents Hamlet was lifted wholesale from the volume you are about to enjoy. To Be or Not to Be.
Oh.
To Be or Not to Be is both the earliest recorded example of the books as game genre, as well as the first instance ever in the then newish English language that was kicking around of an adventure being chosen by you, the reader.
By the way, you guys were wondering how I can, recording with the voice. It's because thanks to Nero, who gave me his mic to recording this Eid. And other thing is, Eid Mubarak to all of my fans. No matter you are Catholic, Christian, whoever you are guys, Eid Mubarak to all of you. Let's celebrate with the new games. And also the sad thing is, my friend Nero phone, I wrongly broke the screen panel. And now I have to pay 2,200 rupees to repair it. How do I get the money? I have to spend my ED. Ah, shit. Well, that's all. Just I want to tell you guys. And about gaming, there we go. Let's go back to game.
William Shakespeare, 1564 AD to whenever he died, was well known for borrowing from existing literature when writing his plays. Romeo and Juliet is pretty much lifted entirely from Arthur Brooks' poem The Tragical History of Romulus and Juliet. Dude didn't even change the names. And as recent Shakespeare scholarship has established, the famed play William Shakespeare Presents Hamlet was lifted wholesale from the volume you are about to enjoy. To Be or Not to Be. To Be or Not to Be is both the earliest recorded example of the books as game genre, as well as the first instance ever in the then newish English language that was kicking around of an adventure being chosen by you, the reader. We've gone ahead and added illustrations, plus we've taken the liberty of marking with tiny York skulls the choices Shakespeare himself made when he plagiarized this book back in olden times. They're there in case you wish to put yourself in Shakespeare's shoes, reading this book as he did, stealing plot elements wholesale, and classing up the language as he/you went/go. However, that is not the only way to read this book. Feel free to explore your other options, as each time you read this book, you can go on a different adventure, assuming you don't read the book like 3 quadrillion times, at which point the adventures will start to repeat, and they'll probably seem pretty familiar long before then anyway. Now, take yourself back to history, when ghosts walked the earth and nobody knew velociraptors were even a thing. Steel yourself to experience the magic of Shakespeare as it was meant to be experienced, in a non-deterministic narrative structure, where you end up thinking maybe you made a wrong decision, so you mark the pages you were just on, so you can always go back and make a different choice if you die for some dumb reason. To Be or Not to Be, that is the adventure. Choose your character. Man, what if I just read the acknowledgments instead?
You can't tell me what to do, smart guy. I'm just gonna keep reading. Okay, how about that?
No book comes together without an author feeling like Thon's in debt to someone. Thanks to Metafilter for all the terrific advice on how to dispose of a body and not get caught. Spoiler alert, there are murders in this book. They have a page just about this, did you know that? They're one of the top search results for how to dispose of a body. And I guess also thanks to the Canadian Security Intelligence Service for not getting me in trouble, yet, after I ran all those searches for how to dispose of a body, and I want to know how to get rid of a dead human body, and gross dead body, plus how to hide it, and what if I committed the murder act? How do I ditch the body and not go to jail? It's an emergency. Thanks also to Chef Michael Smith, Emily Horn, and William Shakespeare for the stew recipe.
What?
Spoiler alert. You can learn to make stew in this book too. It's not murders all the time. For the expansive knowledge of boats and the seas in which they sail. Spoiler alert. Play your cards right in this book, and you just might gain command of a pirate ship. Just be cool. And for ripping me off and making this book so famous. But which thank you applies to which person? That is for you to decide. Yes, even here in this acknowledgement parenthetical, it's up to you to choose your own adventure. But I mean, come on, it's pretty obvious. Thanks to all my artist friends who drew all these pretty pictures in the book. You've made death into a visually stunning treat, and thanks to Chrissy Calhoun for copy editing this book and fixing all my dumb mistakes. Any that remain, I added in afterwards because of brain problems. Finally, thanks to Joey Comeau for his skills at chess, Ray Fox for his skills at Mad Libs, my extremely awesome wife Jen for being extremely awesome, and to my brother, Victor, who confirmed over walkie-talkie that the idea for this book was rad. And thanks to you for buying this book, or at least picking it up and flipping to this page. That took initiative. As a reward, you get to continue enjoying reading this book. Okay, I'm ready now. I will choose my character. No. I'd rather read more acknowledgements. You know what? I want to know more about the author before I commit to anything. You know what? I want to be the author before I commit to anything.
Okay, I'm reading. I will choose my character. That's a long...
You have just been born. Congratulations, good work on that thing. Now, surprise! Babies are boring, so we're going to jump ahead in time to a point where you're an adult, and you've already lived a bunch of your life. But I promise most of what we're skipping over was really dull. You ate a lot, and slept a lot, and made some friends, tears were shed, makeouts were totally had, etc. It was a bunch of high school stuff. The awesome stuff starts now. So, let's begin, my friend. Remind me again who you are. Are you Ophelia? She's an awesome lady in her late 20s with a calm, competent, and resourceful demeanor.
Oh.
She's got a +1 bonus to science, but she's also got a -1 weakness against water, so heads up. Hamlet? He's an emo teen in his early 30s. Also, he's the Prince of Denmark. Hamlet has a +1 resistance to magic, but there's no magic in this adventure, so this never gets mentioned again as of right now. Hamlet Sr.? He's a king of Denmark, 50 years old. He's super good at fighting and leading men into battle in naps. Let's say +1 to each? Look, bottom line, he's an unstoppable machine of death, and should you choose to be him, you may experience kingly glory. Play as Ophelia. Play as Hamlet. Play as Hamlet Sr.
Why this skull is on Hamlet? Why is it not on Ophelia? Also, the Ophelia is scared with water. Seems like a water brook or something. Anyway, so let's make the Hamlet.
You are King Hamlet. All of Denmark is under your command. Everything's going so great for you. At present, you are in Norway, where just this afternoon, you led Denmark's forces to an astounding victory during which you personally killed the Norwegian king. Stabbed him right through the head, you did. His eye popped out and rolled on the ground, and then you stepped on it. Whoa, your ass is bad. You are a badass. You decide after a day of being good at fighting, you should have a nap. You've earned it. You settle down in an orchard for some nappy times. During your delightful rest, your brother pours some poison in your ear, and you die.
Huh?
Surprise! You didn't know poisons work that way.
What?
Wow. You've barely made one choice so far, and you're dead already. Way to go, champ. You're really good at books, huh? It's just a stellar job you're doing here, Chuckles. The end.
The fuck?
Okay, fine. I feel sorry for you. Here's a choice that you can choose. Become a ghost. Do not become a ghost.
How could I do that?
You choose non-existence over being able to float and having spooky powers. It wasn't even a good one, but it is the last decision you ever make. Until you play this book again, that is. The end. P.S. I hope you do play this book again, because there is more to it than dying like an ultra chump in the first 2 turns.
So what is this?
I promise.
Talk, leave the mortal round with business unfinished. I refuse to linger on the merry shadow of my cordial self. There is no desire in my heart to tarry here. There is no desire. There is no desire only. Tarry. There is no desire in my heart, in my heart to tarry here. Beyond that, if I cannot march onward as a flesh and bone, then I would rather cease to exist. I had shed all bonds to this wall and disappearance into the void. Sexy Ghost Beach Volleyball Tournament. Wait, no, undo. I mean to say that being ghost is super cool and I want to stay. This is amazing. So, what's the point? To be or not to be? Not to be. Oh, so this is Hamlet meter. It's time to. Game over. Your state's adventure poison mustache. Choice 6 times this. Okay. You created a better story than Shakespeare. Why not limits power to restart from the checkpoints? In which Claudius read books, in which you choose character, in which Hamlet trap in the poisonous corpse. Go back in which Hamlet trap in with poison. This will erase your progress. Yeah, take me to the air.
Okay. You wanted to kill your stepfather earlier, but why not kill Ophelia's father instead?
Oh man,
that's obviously...
This is the other thing.
Okay. You want...
Checkpoints. From the Hamlet Jr. Afterlife. Yeah. Take me there.
Good news. The afterlife exists, and it's full of ghosts. You know this because you're now one of them. You get to spend all your time slamming doors...
Man, what the hell? Oh, fuck. Checkpoints. In which choose the character. Just take me there.
You've just been born. Congratulations, good work on that thing. Now, surprise! Babies are boring, so we're gonna jump ahead in time to a point where you're an adult, and you've already lived...
Hamlet Jr.
You are King Hamlet. All of Denmark is under your command. Everything's going so great for you. At present. Okay, fine. I feel sorry for you. Here's a choice that you can choose. Become a ghost. Good news! The afterlife exists, and it's full of ghosts. You know this because you're now one of them. You get to spend all your time slamming doors, rattling chains, and telling on the person who killed you. But here's the thing. I, the author, told you, the reader, that your brother poured poison in your ear while you napped. But you, as Hamlet Sr., have no idea how you died. You slept through the whole thing, so you need to figure out who killed you if you're going to revenge yourself on your murderer, assuming you even were murdered. Because remember that, for all you know, you could have died of a heart attack. This is an example of dramatic irony. Only since we're in the second person, it's an amazing example of an entirely new species of dramatic irony. Something I'm going to call second-person pronoun paradoxical autodramatic irony. You are now aware of information that you're not aware of. This should be fun. Except that you died of a heart attack. Listen in on people's conversations and see if any of them talk about how they totally killed you.
Let's see.
You hang around Norway for a bit, trying to listen in on what people are saying, but they're all speaking Norwegian. You only speak Danish, so understanding Norwegian is a little difficult. It all sounds like Swedish to you, which actually makes a lot of sense, since Danish, Norwegian, and Swedish are all related North Germanic languages, descended from early linguistic differentiation between regular Germanic speakers and North Germanic speakers around 200 AD. You nod your head, agreeing that all of this is both accurate and extremely interesting. While these three languages are generally supposed to be mutually intelligible, you find you can understand Norwegian speakers only if you're concentrating, which you are, and if they're speaking slowly and clearly, which they're not, as everyone is running around upset about war, and all these kings getting killed. Ironically, Norwegian speakers can understand Danish easier than Danish speakers understand Norwegian, but that doesn't help you much. That would only be useful if you were playing as a Norwegian king, whose ghost is stowed away on your army's boat headed back to Denmark. But I haven't given you that option, even though it would be extremely awesome. If you're wondering what happens to this vengeful ghost king, I can tell you only this. The answer exists in your imagination. But here's the good news. It turns out written Danish and written Norwegian are actually pretty similar. So you spend the next several nights haunting people, quietly reading their diaries while they sleep peacefully in their beds. And you don't know this, but ghosts do this all the time. Ghosts just love sneaking a peek at the secrets of the living. It takes a while, But you finally find the diary of someone who wrote, on the day you died, that she was wandering by a garden, minding her own business, when she saw some Danish guy pour something in some other Danish guy's ear. Hey, that sounds like what could have happened to you. But remember, you don't know that's exactly what happened to you because of the new irony we invented. Wake up this person and ask her about it. Wake up this person and hold up a piece of paper where you've written down a question asking her about it.
Let's see how this reaction goes.
You bang some pots and pans together until she wakes up.
Hey, I'm a ghost, but not of anyone you know. Listen, tell me more about that garden murder you saw,
you say. In response, the woman looks at you terrified. She says something in Norwegian and you suddenly feel dumb. You're already a spooky ghost, but now you're a spooky ghost talking to her in a language she doesn't even know. Anyway, by the time you find a piece of paper and write down, "Hey, I don't want to kill you," it's too late. The woman has run out of the room, and every time she sees you, she gets mad and throws something at you and leaves. You kind of blew it here, King Hamlet. You keep reading your diary every night for a few months, hoping that she'll mention more about the things she saw, but it's mostly filled with some really personal stuff about her feelings, and you kind of feel honestly creepy about this whole situation. The stuff that isn't personal is about how she wonders if ghosts read diaries, and if they do, if they know what totally awful people they're being. Long story short, eventually you leave her alone, never find out who murdered you, and settle down to a nice pleasant afterlife with the other ghosts in Ghost Norway. You guys do charades with each other and everything. It's pretty fun. The end.
Oh, look. I don't want to kill you. But why did you wake up like this, dude? Holding the fry pan and this shit. Restart from checkpoints. Afterlife. Yeah, take me on there.
Good news.
What if I accept the heart attack?
Probably.
You say out loud to nobody in particular.
Probably I just died of a heart attack. Yes, there's definitely no foul play to investigate. Probably.
You say out loud to nobody in particular.
Probably I just died of a heart attack. Yes, there's definitely no foul play to investigate here.
You're not that curious about the circumstances of your own death, but there's certainly room for incurious people in the afterlife. You, for example, spend the rest of your afterlife, which is forever, training little ghost puppies how to be better dogs.
What?
And they're so cute, and they stay puppies forever and never grow up, but just get better and better and cuter. And, oh my gosh, it's adorable. The end.
Oh, look at this cute. And this is amazing. Ah, fuck. So what do I get? What is this? Restart it with afterlife. Yes.
Good news. You hang around.
Wake up this one, hold a piece of paper.
You grab a piece of paper and write down the words, "Hey, I'm not here to kill you. I just want to know about that murder you maybe witnessed." But in Danish, of course. Haha. You gently shake the woman awake while holding the piece of paper up in front of her. She's freaked out initially. She was just woken up by a ghostly apparition from beyond the grave. But once she reads your note, she looks at you suspiciously and says, "For real?" You flip over the paper and write, "Yeah, I'm the guy that got killed maybe. And I guess I want to revenge my death or whatever. But please speak slowly as Norwegian is not my native language. I'm from Denmark." "Oh," the woman says in Danish. "I speak Danish too."
Kick ass,
you reply. She tells you what she saw and gives you a physical description of the guy. Unfortunately, the man answering to her description could only be one person. Your brother, Claudius. Congratulations, my king. You now know what you know, so that whole second-person pronoun paradoxical auto-dramatic irony thing. Revenge yourself on Claudius. You're feeling pretty chuffed about this whole situation. You grab a piece of paper and write down the words, "Hey, I'm not here to kill you. I just want to know about that murder you maybe witnessed." But in Danish, of course. She's freaked out initially. She was just woken up by a ghostly apparition from beyond the grave. But once she reads your note, she looks at you suspiciously and says, "For real?" You flip over the paper and write, "Yeah, I'm the guy that got killed maybe. And I guess I want to revenge my death or whatever. But please speak slowly as Norwegian is not my native language. I'm from Denmark." "Oh," the woman says in Danish. "I speak Danish too."
Kick-ass,
You reply. She tells you what she saw and gives you a physical description of the guy. Unfortunately, the man answering to her description could only be one person. Your brother, Claudius. Congratulations, my king. You now know what you know, so that whole second-person pronoun paradoxical auto-dramatic irony thing has been slain. You have been awarded 500 experience points, plus you've unlocked a new quest. Revenge yourself on Claudius. You're feeling pretty chuffed about this whole situation. Okay, let's revenge your death. Your murderer is getting away with it in Denmark. Swim back to Denmark.
What?
Wait for the next boat back to Denmark.
What the hell? Did the ghost can swim?
It's like 200 kilometers between the two nations. You know that, right? Apparently not. So you start to swim back to Denmark. But it's a lot of work to keep your body corporeal so that you can swim. So eventually you get tired and stop. For a while, you float above the water, but that gets boring. So for most of the journey, it's like 200 kilometers between the two nations. You know that, right? Apparently not. So you start to swim back to Denmark. But it's a lot of work to keep your body corporeal so that you can swim. So eventually you get tired and stop. For a while, you float above the water, but that gets boring. So for most of the journey, you float down to the ocean floor and travel along it. Hey, there's a sunken pirate ship here. Hey, there might be treasure in it. Examine pirate ship. Ignore it. Just arrive in Denmark.
Let's examine.
Man, it's awesome. And it's so cool to be an underwater explorer who doesn't need to breathe. I mean, it's kind of hard to see things without a light source. But your ghostly body glows a little when you want it to, so it's not bad. The pirate ship itself seems recently sunk. There are bodies trapped below decks, and yeah, that's unpleasant. The ocean bacteria haven't really started decomposing them yet. Bodies, man. Being corporeal, man. I don't know. You find the treasure room, and it's empty. It seems like this ship was attacked, raided, and then sunk. Somewhere up above your head, sailing on the surface of the great ocean Atlantic, is a really tough pirate ship that's just looking for treasure and or trouble. Too bad you're already dead, huh? But even if you were alive, what does a ghost need with money anyway? So I guess this has kind of been a pointless but still awesome endeavor. You explored the ocean bottom and found a sunken ship. Don't let anyone tell you that's not awesome. Okay, after several more days of very slow travel that we just skipped over because it got boring, you're back on Denmark's shores. Arrive in Denmark. You know what? Go back and explore the ocean some more. The ocean rules.
I wonder should I explain or not. Man, let's see what's the new thing here.
It does kind of rule, huh? You realize that, wow, there's a lot of stuff down on the ocean floor that no living human eyes have ever seen. And while your dead ghost eyes won't actually change that fact, there's still lots of cool stuff to explore. You eventually travel all the way to the Mariana Trench, the very deepest part of the ocean, over 547 fathoms below sea level. Here, the water above presses down at over 1,000 times standard atmospheric pressure, and the temperature is just above freezing. There are xenophyophores here, which are honest-to-God single-celled organisms so big you can see them with your bare eyes. Why, here's one that's over 10 centimeters long. This is nuts. This whole place is nuts, and you're learning so much. You give up on your revenge plan and instead devote your afterlife to being a marine biologist and oceanic cartographer.
What?
And it turns out ghost marine biology is pretty advanced compared to alive human marine biology, due in no small part to how you can hang around on the ocean floor for as long as you want and can't die. Nevertheless, you write several seminal ghost books on the subject, including Look at This Weird Bug Thing I Found, and Gross, Life on the Ocean Floor, and make many 100,000 ghost dollars. The end.
Oh. Damn. This is deep down the ocean. So what did we find? Not to be. Fast forward again.
You make it back to Denmark. The first thing you want to do is track down your brother to take revenge. Turns out, that's really easy because he's in the first place you check. The royal court. He's there with your widow, Gertrude. Weird. They're acting all close and stuff. Oh well, he's probably just trying to comfort her after your untimely death. Ha! Brothers are really great. Though, maybe not. Listen in on what they're saying. Ignore what they're saying. I'm certain there's nothing untoward going on.
I better be listen.
Hey, Gertrude,
Says Claudius.
I sure am happy that we married each other, even if it was so soon after your first husband died under mysterious circumstances.
Whoa! That certainly was, in terms of exposition, a very efficient sentence. You decide instantly that your initial revenge plan, haunt a mirror so that instead of Claudius's reflection, he sees you, and then you mirror his movements, so he's not really sure what's going on, is needlessly complex and stupid. Dude killed you and married your widow. Since you are from olden times, you have an extremely old-fashioned sense of ownership over female sexuality, so this really gets stuck in your craw. Instead of spooking Claudius, you decide to kill Claudius, complete the quest. Get your son to kill Claudius instead.
I guess that's all for now, guys. We are putting you guys in the cliffhanger. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you guys think of my gameplay. I'm gonna catch you guys inshallah next time when we meet. Bye bye, take care, love you all. Allah Hafiz, Sayonara, Pakistan Zindabad, peace.